This is the other lecture of the pharmacovigilance series. Thanks by Dr. Gloria Shalviri. I read the lecture of her. We go to read the lecture of pharmacovigilance. This is the photo of a child with thalidomide-induced deformity of the upper and lower limbs. The history of thalidomide keynotes. The drug thalidomide was introduced to the UK in 1958 under its brand name Distaval. The drug was mainly given to the pregnant woman for morning sickness. However, it was used to treat mild depression because of its being a mild sedative. On 27 November 1971, thalidomide was voluntarily withdrawn in the UK from the British manufacturer Distillers Biochemical Ltd. How many babies were born worldwide? There is today an estimated 12,000 thalidomide survivors worldwide and 458 in the UK. However, a further 7,500 died within the first couple. And actually, nobody knows how many in Iran. This is a thalidomide in the Know Your Medicine. This is a newspaper, the many faces of thalidomide from 1970, 1957 by that face on the newspaper. In some cases, the brand names are blank, but it's known that thalidomide was present in the country, as proven thalidomide victims are located in that country, and the mothers got the drug from there either as samples or from some other sources. Some countries have no dates available references, but again the drug was not licensed there, and therefore there can be no accurate rendering of when samples were first available. In this case, the drug could not have been available before October 1, 1957, West Germany's marketing launch date. Make a donation generously will help us fulfill our communication towards all Canadian victims of thalidomide. The Thalidomide Victims Association of Canada exists to empower its members and to improve their quality of life. The first British thalidomide victim was born in January 1959. There are currently 455 thalidomide survivors in the UK. The victim disability range from missing limbs and internal deformity. In the 70s, the Sunday Times led a campaign for justice and for the victims. It is estimated around 40% of thalidomide victims died before their first birthday. The Thalidomide Trust was established on the 10th of August 1973 to providing support to those people who had disability caused because their mother had taken the drug thalidomide during pregnancy. Thalidomide in the US. Although it was being used in many countries, Dr. Kelsey discovered that it hadn't even been tested on pregnant animals. Dr. Kelsey's reaction to thalidomide exemplifies the FDA's mission. The drug had been released only for clinical trials in the USA because of concerns. Following reports from Europe of irreversible peripheral neuritis as a side effect of thalidomide. Pharmaceutical company Grand Fools apologized 50 years after drug pulled off market. Published September 1, 2012. London. Decades of campaigning by victims of thalidomide, a morning sickness drug, have taken a new turn, with the first apology in 50 years to the victims and their family by the drug's German manufacturer, and an incident's rejection of apology as too little and too late from many of those it was intended to placate. Could thalidomide happen again? Thalidomide babies are still being born worldwide today, especially in the third world. In Brazil, approximately 800 babies have been born since 1985. These countries, Angola, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Canary Islands, Cyprus, Denmark, Dominican Republic, and Finland. These brand names, Asmaval, Softenil, Asmavar, Softenone, enteromethylnoctamide, Softenone, Sedin, Talimol, Lulanin, and for example, Peracone are the other generic name of thalidomide. And the available data, there is no data available. Withdrawn March, for example, on 1962, and in 1962, 1959, late on 1959, or in 1961, withdraw. In this country, there is no evidence. In my country, also, there is no evidence. These are for example, in Ghana, there is no data available. In Great Britain, in 1958, the drug was withdrawn. In Hong Kong, in Hungary, there is no data available yet. But in Iran, in 1959 or until 1966, it's withdrawn from the market. In Iraq, 1961, in Ireland, 1962, in Israel, only available for short period of time it was available. In Japan, 1961. Okay. In Lebanon, 1961. In Mexico, 1962, it's withdrawn. In Norway, 1961. And this is a thalidomide catastrophe. Now we're coming to the second generation victims. In the British Sunday Mirror of July 3, 1994, thalidomide deaths tragedy. It was reported that the babies of 6 young men who were born deformed because of thalidomide have also born with malformed limbs. Two of the babies have almost identical deformity to their father. Obstetrician Dr. Williams McVery, whom first warned against thalidomide in 1961, has called on doctors to study children of victims and report back to determine the scale of the tragedy. He says there are second-generation victims in Germany, Japan, and Bolivia, as well as Britain. Distillers and Diego. The original manufacturer of a drug thalidomide was Distillers Biochemical Ltd. Distillers was taken over by Guinness in 1985. Diego was formed in December 1997 through the merge of Grand Met and Guinness. These companies are still paying New Climate, who are still proving that their disabilities were caused by the drug thalidomide between 1958 until 62. Thalidomide people have never received adequate settlements when you consider many that were born with missing limbs, so they fight on. Main lesson from thalidomide: the need for adequate testing of medicines prior to marketing, the need for government regulation of medicine, the need for systems identify the adverse effect of medicine, the potential relationship between marketing claims and safety, avoidance of unnecessary use of medicine in pregnancy, that some risks can be successfully minimized. Okay, the need for adequate testing of medicine prior to marketing, the need for government regulation of medicine, the need for system identify the adverse effect of medicines, the potential relationship between marketing claims and safety, the avoidance of unnecessary use of medicine in pregnancy, and the some risks can be successfully minimized. The yellow card is created here. Two can report from everywhere to the agency. The need for pharmacovigilance. Vigilance is a vigilar, which means to watch, and alert to watchfulness. Forbearance of sleep, wakefulness, watchfulness in respect of danger, care, caution, circumspection, the process of paying close and conscious attention. This is the meaning of vigilance. Vigilare, to watch, alert to watchfulness, forbearance of sleep, wakefulness, watchfulness in respect of danger, care, caution, circumspection, the process of paying close and continuous attention. What is pharmacovigilance? WHO definition: the science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effect or any other drug-related problem. The science and activity related to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effect or any other drug-related problems. Why do we need pharmacovigilance? Again, the science of activity relating to detection, detect, assessment, assess, understanding, understand, and prevention, detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention, adverse effect of the drug-related problem, detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention. Why do we need pharmacovigilance? Will pharmacovigilance prevent this? The risk. No medical product is entirely or absolutely safe for all people. In all places, at all time, we must always, with some measure of uncertainty. Pharmacovigilance can characterize that risk. It means risk. No medicinal product is entirely or absolutely safe. It means we have a risk. Why do we need pharmacovigilance? 10 reasons. Why do we need pharmacovigilance? The first reason: insufficient evidence of safety from medicinal clinical trial. We don't have insufficient evidence. Because of that, we need the pharmacovigilance, insufficient evidence. Drug development happens by phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, the post-approval and before that we have a preclinical phasing, and registration happens. This is drug development. Rule of three: there is 95% chance of observing one occurrence of an event in a population 3 times the size of the event's frequency. For example, if the incidence in 1 to 10,000, 30,000 patients to find one case. If there is an incidence of 1 to 10,000, 30,000 patients to find one case. Okay, the event size of the event's frequency, and 3 times. There is 95% chance of observing one occurrence of an event in population is 3 times size of the event frequency. No, the frequency is 1 to 10,000. No, we have a 95% chance to see in the total population of 30,000. 95% multiplied by 1 to 10,000 is 1 again. Other limitation of phase 1 to 3 clinical trials: narrow population, age and sex specific, narrow indication, only the specific disease we search, short duration, often no longer than a few weeks we have a clinical trial. Okay, what is the limitation of phase 1 to phase 3? Narrow population, narrow indication, and short duration. We have a narrow population, age and sex are specific, narrow indication, and we have a short duration. Reason 2: medicines are supposed to save lives. Dying from a disease is sometimes unavoidable. Dying from a medicine is unacceptable. Lepakin v. Geneva. Medicine are supposed to save lives. Okay, medicine, how? The medicine are supposed to save our lives. Dying from a disease is unavoidable, but dying from the medicine is unacceptable. The UK. It has been suggested that ADR may cause 5,700 deaths per year in UK. That ADR may cause 5,700 deaths per year in the UK. And in the US, the ADR were 4 to 6 commonest cause of death in the US in 1994. In Sweden, the ADR were 7th commonest cause of death in 1994. In the Europe, the ADR are the 5th most common cause of hospital deaths. How common are ADR? Up to 40% patients in the community experience ADR. In the UK, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug NSAIDs use alone accounts for 65,000 emergency administered per year, 12,000 ulcer bleeding episodes per year, and 2,000 deaths per year. It means it's so common. 40% patients in the community experience ADR is so high. If adverse drug events were a disease, we would call it an epidemic. If adverse drug events were a disease, we call it an epidemic. Adverse drug event is created by a disease, we call it epidemic. If adverse drug event were a disease, we would attack it. With the best research, we could support it, and we would put resource into translating and that's research into a practice. Reason 3, to keep products onto the market. Reason 3 of what? That why do we need pharmacovigilance? Okay, why do we need pharmacovigilance? Because of the insufficient evidence of safety from the clinical trial, we need pharmacovigilance. The reason 2, medicines are supposed to save lives, not to die. The reason 3 is to keep products on the market. If we don't do the pharmacovigilance, we cannot keep the products on the market. Example of products recalled due to toxicity: thalidomide, paractolol, keliokinol, benoxaparin, terfenadib, rofecoxib, and veraliprid. Thalidomide is recalled because of the side effect fecolomia. Paractolol on 1975 because of the sclerosis peritonitis. Keliokinol in 1970 is recalled because of the subacute nephropathy. Benoxaparin is recalled on 1982 because of the nephrotoxicity, cholestatic unique. Terfenadib is recalled in 1997 because of the torsade point. Rofecoxib is recalled in 2004 because of the cardiovascular side effect. And veraliprid in 2007 is recalled because of the anxiety, depression, and movement disorder. Veraliprid because of the anxiety, rofecoxib because of the cardiovascular effect, terfenadib, terfenadine because of the torsade point, benoxaparin because of the nephrotoxicity and cholestatic unique, keliokinol because of the nephrotoxicity, paractolol because of the sclerosing peritonitis, and thalidomide because of the phocomelia. But is product recall is the aim of the pharmacovigilance? No, just we wanted to keep it safe and healthy for the peoples. No, because no drug is inherently safe. Inherently safe means we should prove it unless it has no effect at all. Each patient is unique. Each treatment situation is unique. What is the right drug for me might be bad choice for you. Understanding this will help make the right choice for each patient. If patients do well, so will the drugs, but not necessarily the other way around. Okay, reason 4, the to protect patients from unnecessary harm. Many ADR are preventable. To protect patients from, why do we need pharmacovigilance? To protect patients from unnecessary harm. Many adverse drug reactions are preventable. Original article, Adverse Drug Reactions in Hospitals in Patients, a pilot study. 125 patients and 24 patients experienced adverse drug reaction. 59% were avoidable in these articles. Factors associated with preventability, predictability, and severity of adverse drug reactions are also written in this article. 16.8% by the number 62 of the 370 patients had at least one ADR. 102 ADRs is reported. 58.8% of the ADR 60 reactions were preventable reactions. Preventable ADR were more severe than those that were non-preventable. The incidence of preventable ADR increased with the patient's age and caused longer hospitalization than did non-preventable ones. Conclusions. This study notes that the rate of ADR in Iran is probably as high as the rate in other parts of the world. These results indicate a need for a strong national ADR program that detects and reports adverse drug events in Iran. Static nerve damage induced by diclofenac sodium 170 cases is reported in this article, and also this is so interesting because also I was reading this one. Journal of Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutic Adverse Event Induced by Ceftriaxone, a 10 years review of reported case in Iranian Pharmacovigilance Center is also interesting. Infective induced adverse drug reaction in hospitalized patient. This is other article. A burden of ADR. In the Mumbai, India, 6.9% of hospital admission, 0.85% fatality, and 60% was avoidable. Okay, the preventable problems was listed in this article. Reason 5, to reduce healthcare expenses, ADR are a huge burden. If we want to reduce healthcare expenses, we should have an ADR because this is a huge burden. In this article is explained that 6.5% of admission are due to the ADR, and 800 bed hospitals are occupied by ADR patients, and it has a cost about $446 million per annum. Cost of the ADR in the US. Cost of drug-related morbidity and mortality exceed $177.4 billion in 2000. ADR-related cost to the country exceeds the cost of the medication themselves. Most recent data from the EU as a whole cost due to the ADR in EU it was 79 billion per year. The cost due to the ADR is additional cost to hospital is INR 6,197 per patient. The reason 6 that why do we need pharmacovigilance is because any medicines can be implicated. Because any medicine can be implicated. In England, NSAID, diuretic, warfarin, ACE inhibitors, and antidepressants. In Mumbai, anti-tuberculosis, anti-epileptics, anti-malaria, anticoagulants, and oral anti-diabetics can be implicated. Reason 7. Why do we need pharmacovigilance? To promoting rational use of medicine and adherence, to increase the adherence. To promotional rational use of medicine and adherence, we need pharmacovigilance. Reason 8. Ensuring public confidence. If something can go wrong, it will. It will. This is a Murphy's law. Murphy said, ensuring public confidence. If someone can go wrong, it will go wrong. We should increase and ensure the public confidence. In this case, we need the pharmacovigilance. This is the ethical things to do. The reason 9. The pharmacovigilance is the ethical things to do, to know of something that is harmful to another person who doesn't know, and not telling is unethical. To know something that is harmful to another person who doesn't know and not telling is unethical. Not reporting a serious unknown reaction is unethical. Valid for everyone: patients, health professional, manufacturer, and authorities. Not reporting a serious unknown reaction is unethical. If we don't, valid for everyone. If the patient doesn't report, if the health professional doesn't report, manufacturer or the authority doesn't report, this is an unethical reaction. The reason 10 that why do we need pharmacovigilance, it can unveil lapses in best practice, unexpected lack of effect. It can unveil lapses in best practices, unexpected lack of effect, counterfeiting, resistance, interaction, quality problems, dependence and abuse, poisoning, medication error. This is a best practice that, report unexpected lack of effect, counterfeiting, resistance, interaction, quality problems, dependence and abuse, poisoning, medications error, everything. It needs the pharmacovigilance and is the best practice to reports. Pharmacovigilance major aims: early detection of unknown safety problems, detection of increases in frequency, identification of risk factors, quantifying risks, communicating information, and preventing patients from being affected unnecessarily, rational and safe use of medicine. Pharmacovigilance major aims are early detection of unknown safety problems, detection of increase in frequency, identification of risk factors, quantifying risk factors, communicating information, preventing patients from being affected unnecessarily. The aims is early detection of unknown safety problems, detection of increase in frequency of these problems, identification of risk factors, quantifying risks, quantify how many risks, communicating information between the manufacturer, regulatory, and patients, preventing patients from being affected unnecessarily, rational and safe use of medicine we should have in the summarize. Pharmacovigilance is essential. 13 years of essential medicine. People who are vigilant do not die. People who are negligent are as if dead. Medicine safety. To undergo treatment, you have to be very healthy because apart from your sickness, you have to stand the medicine. Because apart from your sickness, you have to stand the medicine. Okay, I want to review the 10 reasons why do we need pharmacovigilance. It can unveil lapses in best practice, quality problems, poisoning, medication errors, interaction, resistance, counterfeiting. This is ethical things to do, ensuring public confidence. If something can go wrong, it will go. Promoting rational use of medicine and adherence, because any medicine can be implicated. To reduce healthcare expenses and to decrease the cost of the medicine, cost of the healthcare. To protect patients from unnecessary harm. Many ADR are preventable. To keep products on the market and not like thalidomide, practolol, and chloroquine, recall them. And medicine are supposed to save lives. They are not to die and kill the patients. And insufficient evidence of safety from clinical trial we have. By the pharmacovigilance, we get the sufficient evidence. Okay, have a good time. Bye-bye.